Okay, so this is part 2, guys. So we have 2 parts to our final exam review. We did part 1 on Friday. This is going to be part 2 today. All right, we just asked the question, is this relation a function? And you guys were saying no. All right, why? Which input messed it up? 2. The input 2 has 2 outputs. Okay, I know in order for something to be a function, a relation to be a function, each input has to have exactly 1 output. So as soon as I see the input repeat, the output has to be the same. If it's different, it's not a function. All right, any questions on that one? All right, pretty straightforward on that is the relation of function. All right, so now I want you guys to work together. We've got an exponent section. Okay, so I kind of grouped all of your exponent related questions from your test into one slide. These are similar questions to what you would see on your final exam. All right, so go ahead and answer these with your group mates. And we'll go over it in just a second. Okay, m to the 4th times m to the 9th. What did you get? M to the 13th power. All right, guys, everybody together. G, what about my G's? G to the 32nd power. What about my H's? H to the 3rd power. Okay, what about 4 to the negative 4th power? Can anybody raise your hand and tell me how to do that one? All right, Reagan?
You can't have a negative, so you put it under 1.
Okay, so she flipped it into the denominator to make the exponent positive. And then what's 4 to the 4th power? All right, now does that mean 16? No, that means 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Did anybody get it? 1 over 256. 256. All right, now evaluate 3b to the 3rd power. I can tell you on your exam, if you were to have a question like this, one of the answer options would be this. But is that correct? What mistake did I make? I did 3 times 3 instead of 3 times 3 times 3, which should have been 27b to the 3rd power. Okay? So just make sure, guys, that you are distributing that power to each term inside the parentheses. Okay? Another answer option that I would probably give you is 3b to the 3rd power. But again, that answer is incorrect because the 3 was not distributed. Okay? All right. So that's it for exponents. Now let's talk scientific notation. Go ahead and solve these 3 problems for scientific notation. All right. Kaylee, what'd you get for scientific notation on the first one? Very good. 6.24 times 10 to the negative 6th power. We know it's negative. Guys, I'm going to give you the negative option and the positive option. Are you going to know it's negative? Okay. All right, Austin, what about the next one? Come on. 1.468 times 10 to what power? You're close, but you don't just count the zeros. You got to go all the way after your leading digit, okay? So it'd be 10 to the 11th power. Now, I would give you the option of 10 to the 8th power on your multiple choice, but you know that that is, you're not just counting your zeros, you're counting all the place values. All right, what about your addition for scientific notation? Noah, can you explain that one to me? Okay, are we supposed to add our exponents here with addition? Remember, guys, we treat addition and subtraction like fractions. So when I'm adding and subtracting fractions, I don't add my denominators. I just bring down my common denominator. So with adding scientific notation, I would bring down my common power. Okay, so I have common power, I bring it down, and now I can add my numbers together. 10.6 times 10 to the fourth power. Okay, but this answer is wrong. I'm going to give it to you as an answered choice on your final, but it is not correct. Can anybody raise your hand and tell me why? Why is this not the fully correct answer? Anybody over here? What is it, William? It's greater than 10. It's greater. I think that's what you meant, though. So it's greater than 10. So, William, where does my decimal need to go? 1.06. Now, if I bump my decimal left, what happens to my power? I have to add 1 to my power. Does everybody understand why I added 1 to my power? Okay, 1.06 times 10 to the fifth power. All right, so this could be, say, option A, and this could be, say, option B on your final exam. Will you know that B is the correct choice? Okay, and probably option C, guys. I would say 1.06 times 10 to the 8th power also. Or the 4th power. Okay? So you can see how I'm going to give you answer choices that involve common mistakes. So just because it's multiple choice test doesn't necessarily mean every answer is going to be obvious to you. You have to know how to work the problem to get the correct answer. All right? Let's talk rational numbers. I need you to take the square root, the cubed root, and then convert the repeating fraction to the repeating decimal to a fraction. All right, so let's go ahead and work these 3 problems. All right, so what did you get when you took the square root of 144 over 225? What'd you get? 12 over 15, which reduces to? No, whoa. 12 over 15, guys. What does it reduce to? 4 over 5. Okay, so 12 over 15, maybe that would be option A. 4 over 5 would be option B. You would say B. Okay? All right, what about 216 over 512? The cubed root. What's the cubed root of 216? 6. What's the cubed root of 512? All right, not the final answer. What is my final answer? 3/4. Okay, so make sure it's fully reduced. Okay, does anybody remember step 1 for converting a repeating decimal to a fraction? Step 1 says make it equal to x. X equals 0.26 repeating. Make it equal to x. Step 2 says multiply the entire equation by the equivalent power of 10 to how many repeating digits there are. How many digits do I have repeating? 2. So what would I multiply the equation by? 100. So you need to distribute the 100. Go ahead and do that and write your equation. Distribute the 100. 100 times x and 100 times 0.26 repeating. Okay, so 100, did you get 100x equals 26.26 repeating? Did you guys get that? Okay, so it bumps that decimal right 2 places to make 26 a whole number, but the 26 repeating is still there. All right, does anybody know what my next step is? Does anybody know what my next step is? No. What do I do next? Do I divide now? No, I don't. I must subtract my original equation. I must subtract my original equation, and I do this so I can eliminate the repeating decimal. It doesn't matter that these repeating decimals go on into infinity because they're about to just be subtracted from each other. They're going to cancel out. All right, so what's 100x minus x? 99x equals 26. Now I solve for x. Divide both sides by 99. And x equals 26 over 99. Okay? All right, so this is probably one that you're going to need to go back and watch the review video. For you guys, okay, in third hour, you guys are fortunate because you have until Thursday to prepare for the math exam, okay? I have some students who are taking their math test tomorrow. They have less time to prepare. All right, so that's one benefit for you guys having your test later this week. You have more time to prepare. All right, I want you to approximate the cubed root and the square root to the nearest perfect square, then take the root, okay? So I'm going to ask you to approximate this to the closest integer. You do that by rounding it to the closest perfect square or perfect cube and then take the root of that number. Go ahead and do that. What perfect cube is 350 really, really close to? Yes, and what's the perfect cube for 7? 343. So the cubed root of 350 is approximately 343. Guys, that's only 7 away, and for perfect cubes, that's really, really close. So I know it's going to be very close to 7. So guess what? 7 is going to be an option. 6 is going to be an option. 8, none of the above. Okay? All right, what about the square root of 50? What do you think it's going to be? 7 again. It's really close to the square root of 49, right? It's only 1 away. So the square root of 50, yeah, it's going to be pretty close to 7. You're going to have to approximate on your final. All right, formulas. Let's go over our formulas. What is my formula to find slope? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We also know this as rise over run on the graph. Okay? You're going to need to find slope on your test. What about slope intercept? Y equals what? mx plus b. Let's say it together. Y equals mx plus b. You have to know that. What's my formula for point slope? Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All you would be asked to do on a question like this is to plug the numbers in. You will not have to solve for y. Okay? All right, let's talk volume. Volume of a cylinder. V equals, say it with me, 2 pi r squared h. What I want you to notice, guys, pi r squared. That's the area of a circle. Pi r squared. Why would I be multiplying this by 2 with a cylinder? Why would I be multiplying it by 2? Because think of a cylinder. There are 2 identical bases on a cylinder. Okay? And then the height of the cylinder. What about a cone? Oh, hold on. That was surface area. So it's just pi r squared h. Ooh, I'm glad I got that. Okay, volume of a cylinder is just pi r squared h. Okay, so I was doing surface area. No. You do not have to know surface area. All you need to know is volume. So that was, ooh, I'm glad I caught myself on that. Now, the only difference with volume of a cone is what? 1/3 pi r squared h. Because remember, the sides cave in to form the peak of the cone. Okay? Gosh, that would have been a bad mistake if I told y'all the surface area. Okay, volume of a sphere. V equals 4/3 pi r cubed. And I forgot my squared on the cone. Okay, so there's my formulas. You could have that as a multiple choice question. You know, which formula is the formula for cylinder or sphere? Okay. All right, inequalities now. Okay, let's solve these compound inequalities, the one-step inequality. And then down here, I want you to take that statement and write an inequality statement. Okay, so there's nothing to solve here. I just want you to write the statement that would be represented here. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve these inequality problems. Okay, all right, guys. So, no x on the 25. The x only goes in the middle. All right, but same process to solve for x. What do I need to do to all three sides of this compound? Divide it by 5. Did you guys do that? Okay, so now I have 5 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 10. So what if I were to give you a multiple choice question that said, choose an acceptable solution to this compound inequality? What solutions would be acceptable or make it true? Give me some numbers. What numbers? 6 would make it true. Yes. What other numbers? 7 would make it true. Is 7 greater than 5 but less than 10? Yes. Would 10 make it true? Look here. It can be equal to 10. That's what the bar means. So 10 is a part of the solution. So what if I gave you these 4 choices on your final, guys? 6, 8, 10, or all of the above? All of the above, okay, would be solutions to this compound inequality. All right, how do I solve negative 3x is greater than 30? Divide by negative 3, both sides. X is what? Less than negative 10. Less than. Why did I reverse my inequality? Because there's a negative connected to x. So you better believe this is going to be option A, and guess what option B is going to be? Greater than. Are you going to know to pick option A, which is to reverse the inequality? Okay? Because I definitely am going to be giving you both choices. So you will have to know to reverse that inequality. All right, what do you think about the baby tiger example? All weights have to be greater than or equal to 12 because it says at least. That means all the acceptable solutions have to be greater than or equal to that number. Just like when we learned this in class, I gave you the roller coaster example. You have to be at least 48 inches tall, which means 48 is the minimum. All the acceptable heights have to be more than that. That's the same thing here. Okay, so you're going to see these types of questions on your final. All right. Okay, volume. Find the volume. We just went over our 3 volume formulas. Okay. And I just need you to calculate it. All right, work together. Okay, cone has a diameter of 14 inches. All right, what's the volume of a cone? V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. So V equals 1/3 times pi. What's my radius, guys? 7. Did you get 7? Okay, and then times 10, which is your height. Okay, so once you multiply all those and divide, what did you get? I thought it was 512.9. Okay, so volume is approximately 512.9. Now, again, inches cubed. Again, this is multiple choice. I'm going to be very clear on this. I'm not trying to trick you or mislead you, so I wouldn't necessarily say 512.8 as another option. It'll be clear what option is the correct one. Okay? All right, for volume. All right, guys, this is our last slide. We're going to review polynomials. This was the last unit that we did. You have 2 questions on your final about polynomials, okay? One is simplifying and one is foiling. So let's go ahead and do these 2 problems and then we'll be done. So what did you simplify with y to the third? What did you guys simplify with y to the third? 3y to the third to make 4y to the third. What happened when you simplified your 2y's? What's 2 minus 2, guys? 0. It completely cancels out. Do not write anything. What's 8 minus 10? Negative 2. This is it. Okay? This is your final answer. Do not put 0y squared. Okay? When it cancels, it's completely gone. All right, now on the FOIL. First, what's x times x? X squared. What's outside? 6 times x. 6x. What's inside? Minus 4x. And what's last? Negative 24. Now combine your middle terms. And we have x squared plus 2x minus 24. Okay? All right, and if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for part 2 of your final. Guys, you need to review these 2 videos. It gives you the greater majority of your final, but also, listen, please listen, go back into your big ideas practice test and review those also, okay? That's your study tool for your final exam coming up this week.